Well, thank you, Sandra, and welcome to operational headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Dave Bergeron from Medtronic Corporate Communications, and we have a very special guest here for this portion of the program. Bob White leads our medical surgical portfolio at Medtronic. He is based in Boulder, Colorado, and he's also a member of the Medtronic Executive Committee. So we are pleased to have Bob White here joining with us here live. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Well, Dave, it's great to be here, and it's great to see you again. So thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. A few questions for you, for our audience, and I know folks are excited to hear from you here today. You know, as we know, Medtronic has been advancing healthcare technologies for many, many years. We have a long, enduring mission that I know you're excited about. And we've also been innovating in instruments and solutions that are used in the operating room. What is on the horizon line for the medical surgical division in the years to come? How excited are you?
Well, Dave, look, I'm super excited, but let me actually start with a big thank you to all of the clinicians and healthcare workers in Latin America for their incredible work, not only, through the pandemic, but right now, and also thank them for partnering with Medtronic. It's such a privilege to be able to work as we do across Latin America with healthcare providers, and so we're excited about that. To the heart of your question, look, I'll maybe pick on a few things and we can explore them in more depth if you want. But, let's start with just what happens in the operating room. Surgeries take place, right? And if you think about it, there are 50 million surgeries that take place annually. The great majority of those, over 60% of those, are still done open, where a large incision is made and the surgeon puts her hands in your body, fixes some things, and then sews you back up. And there's just tremendous advances on the horizon. So if you think about 60% of procedures done open, that leaves 35-ish, 30-ish, done minimally invasive, where that's, you put just a few ports in. And then robotic-assisted surgery is actually really small. It's only 5% or less, depending on the geography that you're in. And so we just think, like every other field where we've seen robotic-assisted operations have a big impact, the same thing is going to happen here as we think about the future of surgery. You think about the role of data and AI, and we can pick that up. But at the end, Dave, you think about our job is as simple as giving surgeons better hands and better eyes, right? Which translates into a better experience for the patient, a better experience for the hospital. And so I'm just really excited about the future because healthcare has always been about providing that great patient experience. And we think technology actually helps us get there. So quick answer for you, we can explore it in more depth.
Well, certainly exciting to hear from you as it relates to the future. Now, you mentioned the pandemic, and obviously the pandemic has accelerated the implementation of digital health solutions, and providers are investing in new ways to improve convenience, connectivity, and access. Are you seeing this trend as well, and how is it going to impact the surgical ecosystem?
That's a great question, Dave. And truly, I think there are durable lessons from the pandemic. And one of the things the pandemic taught us was, first off, with patient consultations, a lot more of that can be done via the web, via Zoom, via the phone. And so that in and of itself has exploded. And I don't think that's going back. And that's true around the world. If you think about how patients access the healthcare system first. But then I think you've got to take that a step further, which is to say, once the patient does arrive at the hospital, what's his or her experience? And again, I believe that there's a ton of real learnings coming out of COVID. For example, let me give you one. One of the things the team did during COVID was to figure out how to remotely control a ventilator outside of the room, right? And so what did that do? Well, one, it saved on PPE, it reduced infection. And so think about that remote control of a ventilator. And now, that's now going to be offered around the world. And so we hadn't done that before COVID, but when COVID came, we said, oh, we can do that. And that points me to another thing of, I think there are real novel partnerships. And so think about healthcare and the partnerships we can have with both Amazon, to do home delivery of healthcare, equipment, PillCam Genius and other things. And so I think you see innovation that resulted in the pandemic will be sustained. I think you see partnerships that were created during the pandemic that will be strengthened. And I just think you see this real focus on the patient experience and how hospitals, providers, caregivers in general really focus on that.
Yeah, that's fantastic insight. Now, according to a recent survey produced by McKinsey, physicians in Latin America specifically are expecting more care to shift out of hospitals and into patients' homes. Are you seeing this trend, and how does Medtronic plan to support a transition like that?
Absolutely, we're seeing this trend around the world. And it kind of goes back to a very basic is, wouldn't we all want to be having care delivered in our own homes where we're arguably most comfortable? And so part of this really gets at the heart of, well, if you're going to monitor a patient as they leave the ICU and go to a step-down facility outside the hospital, how do you do that? One of the ways we're doing this, and we're really excited about our partnership with BioIntelliSense, is a wearable monitor that measures vital signs continuously and then wirelessly transmit that information back to the caregiver, right? And so now you don't need a nurse every day or every moment. You've got the opportunity to get continuous vital signs monitoring. And this is just the next evolution of where healthcare is going. So you can do it when they're in the ICU. You can do it when they move to the medical surgical floor. You can move it when they go outside the hospital. And we really think that's the future of where this is going. And importantly, though, Dave, it's not just the technology. It's how this fits within into the broader ecosystem, the workflow, how the clinicians get the right data at the right time, early enough to make a clinical decision, right? And how does it work with the patient in their setup? And this is what, when we talk about an ecosystem, it's much bigger than just technology. It's truly integrated and seamless, and that's the word you want to think about, seamless into how you experience the healthcare system.
Yeah, Bob, and it seems, just listening to you, it seems that you're pretty passionate and excited about this intersection of healthcare and technology. When you step back and kind of look at that industry, how exciting is this place to be?
This is the place to be. This is the place to be. Now, I've devoted 30 years of my career at that intersection of healthcare and technology. And the reason it gets back fundamentally to the Medtronic mission, which is to alleviate pain, restore health, and extend life. And if I can do that for someone's uncle, sister, brother, father, mother, then that's a great way to spend our energies. And that's what we're all about, how we do that for people around the world.
Bob White, the leader of our medical surgical portfolio here at Medtronic, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Dave. It was a real pleasure.
And thank you for participating in this year's forum. And it was great to hear from Mr. Bob White. We will see you later on in the program. But for now, Sandra, back to you.